simple because that's how much shit he wrote right there. So it can't be that simple, right? You talked up the PS3 a lot, and I understand that it now finally has games coming out for it, but most of the games I see are also available on the 360. Right, so, you know.
Are we going to pause mid-letter, or are we going to just read the whole thing?
Well, there's a few points. We'll go through. So, do you think the exclusives will make the PS3 actually worth it over the 360, hardware better or worse aside? I mean, in all honesty, I prefer Forza to GT, Halo to Resistance, and so on. Already owning a 360, I have no problems buying and playing Skate and whatever else is multi-platform for the 360. Blu-ray isn't really a selling point to me, and because of that, I can't really see dropping $400 for a console that will give me Metal Gear Solid 4. The only reason I could see buying a PS3 would be to play something like Unreal with a mouse and keyboard, but then I'd turn around and be pretty pissed that I've already dropped $190 on a mouse and keyboard for my PC. $190 on a mouse and keyboard for PC. I'm not sure where that came from. But really, I don't see the PS3 as a console that will have lasting impact, except maybe the built-in high-def drive. I will give you the fact that Eye of Judgment sounds pretty badass, having spent nights in high school getting hammered and owning some Fools and Magic the Gathering. So basically, Eye of Judgment and a few exclusives aside, is there really a reason to run out and buy a PS3, glass my 360, and return my PC to an email and Halo 3 GGL Group post box? All right, good question, and maybe didn't quite understand where I was trying to come from yesterday. I was coming from an angle of I already own all three consoles. I'm now determining as a tri-console owner which one is my primary console. Being that the PS3 is now getting essentially, with the exception of a few exclusives on the 360, namely Mass Effect, BioShock, that I would choose a primary console to use going forward. Because I do watch a lot of high-def movies on Blu-ray, because I do play Eye of Judgment, I do play Warhawk, and I will play Metal Gear Solid and Drake's Fortune and a few other exclusives, the PS3 is a right choice for me. Now, I never once said that I was going to wrap my PS3, my 360, put it into the fucking closet and forget about it. I'm very well aware that in order to enjoy everything that the video game industry throws at me, that I am going to have to utilize both consoles regardless. But what I'm talking about is that I've got to, right?
I love that you said both. Like, it's just so ace to me, dude.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, I'm not trying to make a case for one over the other. I'm simply saying for myself, as a guy who always knew that I wanted PS3 to be my primary console because of the things that you apparently don't care about. For example, Blu-ray. I care about fucking Blu-ray. I also care about the fact that I can media share with my PS3 a hell of a lot better than I can with my 360. So if you utilize the full potential of your consoles, then you might find that, yeah, PS3 is a better choice. And in fact, I read something today that Dell is offering for $400 the 40 gigabyte PS3, a fucking Spider-Man 3 on Blu-ray, and Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction for $399. Now, if that's not a hell of a deal, then really I don't know what is. And I'm not suggesting that everyone just drop all the cash that they've got and go out and buy a PS3. All I'm suggesting now is that if you have been going down the path, yes, exclusives is something that you need to look at. But at the end of the day, I'm going to try to balance both consoles because I want to play Mass Effect, because I want to play, what's that other fucking game coming out by Microsoft? Alan Wake. I want to play shit like that. But you know what? I'm not going to pass up Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm not going to pass up Drake's Fortune. I'm playing the shit out of Eye of Judgment. And so, you know, finally, the PS3 does have reason to be a primary console, and that's what I was getting at. You know, should you drop all your cash to do it? No, but maybe you should look into how much better Blu-ray actually is and watch a movie in Blu-ray and then fucking drop your jaw and go, holy shit, this actually is worth a couple extra, dollars if I go out and buy a PS3. So right now, I think everyone's going through this transitional phase. Is my PC primary? Is my 360 primary? Is my fucking Wii primary? Is my PS3? I don't know. It's how you use your console. And all I was doing yesterday during my little triad was basically talking about how finally now I personally can use my PS3 as a primary console. And if you were waiting for an opportunity to do so, now you can too. That's all I was getting at.
I would want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know if Ryan even has an HD TV. Because if he doesn't care about a high def format, that's the only console with a high def format in it.
See, I've got to say he either does have an HTV or HD TV, or you're fucking ignorant. You know, Ryan, I'm sorry that I have to say it, but if you've got an HD TV and you are not looking at Blu-ray, then you've already made a fucking mistake. If you've got a friend with a PS3 and you've got an HD television, you need to have him bring that thing over, hook it up HDMI, and watch a Blu-ray. You will see the difference. It's not hard. It's not.
Yeah. He's obviously doesn't have a high def system, like it's sound or video, pretty much. It doesn't seem like it's important to him to see that. So my advice to this dude is to get a Wii. But I think the first couple things in there are kind of strange, and I want to maybe revisit at least one, and it's right at the beginning of his letter where he says, you talked up PS3 a lot, and I understand that it now finally has some games coming out. How long's this system been out, and how's the release list compared to the 360 when it came out and its release list, at the kind of time?
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Give me some thoughts here, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Rance. If you look at the time restrictions on all the consoles, you're always going to have a lull in the console with titles coming out. The Wii suffered it, the 360 suffered it, the PS2 suffered it, the fucking Super Nintendo suffered it, the original 8-bit Nintendo suffered it. It's just like, it's just a natural occurrence in video gaming when you bring out a new console. People have got to spend time developing games. And
there are still no games out for the PS3 because that was the last one to come out, right?
Well,
riddle me this.
Right. There's another thing to keep in mind here, okay? What is the longevity logistics of the consoles in question? Because I know for a fact that Sony intends to use the PS3 for up to 10 years in the same way that the PS2 still outsells every fucking next generation console on a weekly basis. It's because there are so many games out for it. It's because there is such an unnaturally large library for it, and because it does have a fucking huge install base. Now, with that being said, Microsoft does not have the same longevity expectations for the 360 that Sony does for the PS3. So while, yes, there has been a slow start for the PS3, you have to remember that Sony plans to support this system beyond 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. They plan to support it 8 to 10 years, and a great example of how they've done that successfully is on the PS1, where they supported it even after the PS2 came out, and at the PS3 came out, they continue to support the PS2. So, while you may choose to go with the 360, keep in mind that Microsoft in the next fucking 36 months may drop the Xbox 720 on your ass, and it's going to cost $350, and now you're going to have to be sitting there going, well, I guess to get the similar gaming experience or to get the next level, I'm going to have to dish out that money anyway. So longevity is always something to keep in mind. I can't speak for the longevity of the Wii because, quite frankly, although Nintendo may want longevity, I have a feeling that the novelty will prevent them from getting longevity, and I'm going to go ahead and move on with that.
Yeah, can I do one more?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so if I was to play triple devil's advocate flip-flop master here, I would say, everybody who calls an ass or writes an ass, what's the system, and the debate continues. I would say, look at it like this. Look at it on an individual level for you. If you don't plan on buying an HD TV within 5 years, buy a fucking Wii and stick that Wiimote up your ass. The second choice is buy a 360 if your TV only does 720p and you're not planning on buying a better TV anytime soon. If you have the most expensive shit in your house that you can possibly buy to impress all your lady friends, get yourself a PS3, because that is the piece of equipment that rivals your equipment at home. That's like the best advice and the most objective advice that I can offer to anyone who's there. So if you have your TV that does 1080i or 1080p, right on, get the PS3.
Absolutely.
720p cap equals Xbox 360, and the Wii is just trash.
Right, and of course, worst case scenario or best case scenario, as far as I'm concerned, get both consoles.
Yeah.
I
got
can't
both.
go wrong. Yes,
I do have both.
Get a second job.
It's a half a thousand. It's $500 into a money sink, and probably even more. But That's where I think you really have to start looking at, getting a system with wireless and Blu-ray and this and that and the exclusives, but you've got to make a decision on your own. I could sit here and I could tell you, I could shove down the PS3 down your throat, I could shove the fucking 360 down your throat, but at the end of the day, it's your decision, not mine. I'm just giving my own personal opinion. If it was my decision, all you motherfuckers would own both consoles and we wouldn't have to have this argument on a daily basis.
The Stick'em chat actually had a pretty funny one.
What's that?
And there was a couple of lines that said the ladies love the Wii. And you're absolutely right. The ladies love the Wii, but most ladies have no idea what a good experience is.
That's right.
It's kind of like when the ladies enter my bedroom, they think sex is fun, and when they leave it, they know that the rest of the sex they had was
I didn't
not
know they
fun.
left your bedroom.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cuts off their heads and put them on the trophy wall. That's what he walked
I do have
in.
videos. It's at www.snuffilmsbyrants.com.
How many people are going to go to that
.tv.
right now? All right.
.tv. .org.
I really want to go to open phones, but I do have one more user letter.